والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, كيف حالكم? Alhamdulillah. My beloved brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, in our fiqh this evening, I actually just deviating from the text slightly before I move away from the chapter of the adhan and iqama. And I thought I will just share a slide regarding the announcements, the i'lan that the mu'adhin must make before a janazah salah. And I think that this is an area which is not often taught or looked at, and people just go to the masjid, and of course we are not individuals who just blindly go through a practice. We must know what we are doing in fiqh. So we know that before the janazah salah is performed, the mu'adhin, you see it in the harams, you see it in the masajid here in South Africa, the mu'adhin announces that there is about to be a janazah salah. And that, the Bilal makes that announcement, and that Bilal makes the announcement, as the scholars of fiqh have indicated, to actually alert the musalli of the nature of the person who has passed away. So of course, in a small community such as our city, in our masajid, when there is a janazah, we typically know who it is. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes you can go to a masjid and there is a janazah and you don't even know if it is a male or a female. And of course, this is not announced in English. They also don't put up signs at the masajid. The Muslim is required to listen to the announcement of the mu'adhin and then know what my dua must entail when I make that dua in the janazah salah. So I'm sharing the announcements or the format of the announcement because it's not only for the mu'adhin, the Bilal to know, it's very much for everyone else to know because they need to understand it. They need to know what is the mu'adhin saying. A common point that people often share with me is they go to the haram, Makkah, Medina, Umrah, Hajj, and they hear the mu'adhin or the Bilal announce, but they don't know what is being said. So they're not sure of how they must adjust their dua. Now, of course, very important, I'm sharing this slide, inshallah, and you can download it from the website after tonight. And you can keep and just go over this so that at least if you're not going to be the mu'adhin at a masjid, when you hear this announcement, you understand what is the nature of the mayyit. Okay, so the announcement in reality requires two critical areas. Two important points must be mentioned. But I've tried to use the wording as it is quite common in South Africa. It differs from region to region. What we announce in South Africa is also slightly different to how they announce it in the harams. In the harams, they might simply say, As-salatu ala al-amwati rahimakumullah. That is how they would announce it in the harams. As-salatu ala al-amwati yarhamakumullah. They would simply announce it in that manner. Here we have it slightly longer. We say as-salatu, and maybe we say ala hada or hadihi, depending on the teaching. Al-mayyit, and then we also indicate al-hadir. That is common here in South Africa. So in our format here, we typically say as-salatu ala hada al-mayyit al-hadir, as-salatu rahimakumullah. And so the announcement indicates firstly as-salah. It opens with as-salah, meaning we are about to perform salah, which we know. Then if we use hada or hadihi, as I've put on the slide, it's not needed. you need to first say as-salah. If you add hada or hadihi, hada is going to be added for a male. So if you hear in South Africa, and if the muaddin says as-salatu ala hada, then it is upon a male. That's the salah is about to be performed on a male adult or male child. If the muaddin is not too comfortable with this rule in Arabic of hada, hadihi, then take it out. If you're not sure because it's a grammatical issue, so then you simply say as-salatu ala. Now we come to the deceased, the most important word. We have al-mayyit or al-mayyita or tifl or mayyitain or tiflain or amwat or atfal. These are the categorizations of the mayyit. So in that one word in Arabic, you are being told the gender, the number, and also whether it's an adult or a child in that word. So when a person announces, and so you often find when the muazzin makes this announcement, the ulama will listen very carefully because they might make a mistake in that announcement. So it's very common for the sheikh, the imam, to correct the muazzin because, of course, they might not be familiar with Arabic. But the muazzins must learn it correctly. That's where it begins because others will learn from that. So when we say al-mayyit, we are referring to one adult. Now, if you hear the muazzin says as-salatu ala hadha al-mayyit, then your dua, now, what's the impact of this? Your dua must adjust accordingly. That is what's supposed to happen. So if you hear one male, your du'as will all be Allahumma khfir lahu warhamhu. There's a hu in your du'as. In all the du'as that you are making, now they differ here as well. The fuqaha say that the purpose of the dua in the salah, janazah salah, is you're supposed to make dua for this person. It shouldn't be a general dua. The mayyit expects that everyone in that janazah salah is making dua for him or her. That's what they are waiting for. Everyone in their du'as, in their salah, they're making dua, and the angels, of course, are listening and they're recording. If you hear mayyit, you're going to make Allahumma khfir lahu warhamhu. Okay. Then if it is mayyita, a female, now this is also a common mistake. Many times the muaddin simply says mayyit, but it is a mayyita, a female. Because if it is a female, your du'as then become Allahumma khfir laha warhamha wasakkinha fil jannah. Because you heard it is a female. So can you imagine it is a male who passed away and you are saying Allahumma khfir laha warhamha. You know, the angels might inform the mayyit that Butachi, called you a female here in this dua. So it's embarrassing. So we learn inshallah. And then it's uncommon, but in South Africa, if it is a child, there would be abtifel. We'd mention abtifel. Also uncommon in South Africa to be grouping because of the size of our community. But if it's two males or two deceased, we'll say mayyitain. If it is two children, tiflain. If it's many who have deceased, who have passed on, many who are deceased, as you hear in the harams, as-salatu alal amwat. So in the harams, it's very seldom you hear one person or one child. It's typically amwat, multiple people, or atfal, multiple children. And so when you go to the harams and you hear the muaddin says, as-salatu alal atfal, means there are multiple children who have passed away. Okay? And of course, when it's a tifl in Arabic, it means that the child is not yet baligh. Once the child becomes baligh, they move over to the adult status. Okay. And then in the last word that we add is in South Africa really, and in other parts of the world, but not in the harams, we add al-hadir, that the mayyit is present. It's not necessary to add it. So if the muaddin says as-salatu ala al-mayyit, yarhamakumullah, or as-salatu rahimakumullah, if they only said just the mayyit, not hadir, it's a given that the mayyit is present. So you don't need to add it, but hadir is added, or hadira for a female, or hadirain for two, or al-hadirin for multiple people. And so when you hear in South Africa, in most cases, it's going to be one person, male or female, and that is the big difference. You change your dua to hu for males and ha for females. If, and this is where the lughawiyin, the linguists in fiqh and Arabic, they say that if you can't make this decision in Arabic, then you just pluralize it. Allahumma ighfir lahum warhamhum wasakkinhum fil jannah. Hum in Arabic is the pronoun that we add to pluralize it. So if you hypothetically also get to a janazah salah and you don't know, you should first ask the people next to you. If that is the preferred thing, don't assume. So if you get and they haven't started, you ask, is it a male or a female? So that people can tell you, so you can adjust the dua. But let's say you enter a masjid and they're already in the salah, then you pluralize to be safe. Because when you pluralize in Arabic, you have included both genders. So what do we take from tonight's lesson, inshallah, as I close the section on adhan and iqama? You must know and understand, the announcements, the a'lan of the muaddin for janazah salah, because it is a right of that mayyit that you make an appropriate dua. In the same way that you would want someone to make the right dua when it is your turn to be laying there in that kafan. So may Allah inspire us and guide us to learn this accordingly, and of course to make the du'as appropriately. This is a requirement in janazah salah, right? Many people, especially in our city, they just go through a practice. They don't actually learn. And even if you teach them, recite it in this manner, they still don't want to do it. Now that is a sign, a dangerous sign of a community, when knowledge is available in the community, but you choose not to act on it. Very importantly, learn the dua, understand the announcements, teach it to your kids and your grandchildren as well. If the muaddin says it in this manner, this is how you adjust your dua. Okay? Inshallah. May Allah assist us and guide us. Wa sallallahu wa sallam.